Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you information about exciting things that are happening right here in this community, and today will be no different. The North Alabama Sickle Cell Foundation is the primary organization providing information about sickle cell disease. Today, here to talk to us about this particular emphasis and so much more is the Executive Director of the North Alabama Sickle Cell Foundation. She's Pam Thompson, and she's here with us in the studio today. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Kenny.
It's good to have you here today, and I've been interested in having this conversation for a while because I'm not sure that we've had you here yet. And this is something that we have to fix going forward in the future to make sure that we have at least an annual check-in with you to find out what's going on.
Thank you.
So first of all, talk a little bit about what sickle cell is for those who may not know what it is.
Okay, sickle cell is a hereditary blood disorder that you can only get from your parents, and we try to emphasize to everyone that you're born with sickle cell disease. You cannot get it any other way.
So a person that's born with sickle cell, tell me what that means. What does that mean to, now I know what it means, but I want people that are listening to kind of hear a little bit about what that is.
Well, there's a dysfunction of the red blood cells, and there's what we want to say, the oxygen flow of the blood is cut off when you have sickle cell disease. And when this oxygen flow is cut off, you tend to have severe pain in the limbs, and this pain can cause strokes and other harmful diseases to the body. So people with sickle cell do suffer. There is no universal cure at this time, but we do have a few individuals that have been cured, and one was through the bone marrow, but that bone marrow has to come from a sibling or a parent or a child of the person suffering from sickle cell disease. And the other research that's out there that's curing a few individuals is the stem cell, but you have to get that again from your siblings, and you need to do that at a very young age because it tends to work better the younger you are.
Yeah, it's interesting, I think, because sickle cell has been around for a long time now. I think people generally know that it's a disease that creates a lot of medical challenges for people. They oftentimes focus on the deformity in the cell that leads to that oxygen deprivation that you talked about. But even more so, I think people oftentimes think about the condition itself without the other things that are exacerbated by having sickle cell. So like you were saying, you know, people have, they're more prone to strokes and numbness and, you know, poor circulation and lots of other challenges that can lead to other problems in terms of a person's health. So it really is kind of a global challenge when it comes to having this particular disease that, as you said, can only be inherited from parents. Are there things about sickle cell that you especially like to point out when you're educating people that they may not know about, whether it's somebody who is a friend of a loved one or a family member of a loved one that has the disease, or perhaps potential parents who need to know something about it? Are there specific things that you like to target people with in terms of education? Yes,
and what we try to do in the school systems that we serve 10 counties in North Alabama, is educate children on their sickle cell status. If you don't know what your status is, we offer free blood testing. We'll send that blood sample to the University of South Alabama in Mobile Sickle Cell Comprehensive Center, and it will read your blood and tell us your status. So two people with the trait, their chances of producing a baby with sickle cell disease is like a 25% chance. But if you don't know your status, that's where the biggest problem is. We have babies born each and every month here in the state of Alabama, and the parents come to me later, well, I didn't know I had the trait. So what we're trying to do, if you don't know your status, please call us, please set up an appointment, a time to come in, and let us give you that blood test and send that sample on to the University of South Alabama, so that hopefully that's the best way to prevent the spread of the disease.
You know, as is the case with so many other conditions, knowing your status is so important in this process in terms of addressing the potential to have this disease and perhaps eliminating the potential of having this disease. Your work with the Sickle Cell Foundation covers a wide range of counties, as you said. what are the main challenges that you see families facing as a result of this disease?
In most cases, many of the families have jobs, or the parents have jobs, and if the child is in the hospital for a week or two, sometimes even a month, they're off from work, and usually they have jobs that do not pay them for being off. So the foundation's main purpose is to support families and clients of sickle cell disease. And so what we try to do through our fundraisers is provide financial assistance through transportation, housing, utilities, and now dental. We're dealing with a lot of clients who have dental needs. So our fundraisers concentrate on ways we can help these families get through difficult times.
And of course, you mentioned fundraisers. You have a huge one every year. It's a sickle cell walk. I know we spoke recently about the idea that so many more people you would like to see participating, contributing to this event. It takes place every year at a certain time, and it takes place for a specific purpose. Talk about that sickle cell walk.
Okay. The walk is always the first Saturday in June. And we start out early on that Saturday morning, registration at 7:30. We're walking around 9. And what we're trying to do is build teams. Teams bring in people. And so we had a perfect example from one of our clients. At the time, she was 8 years old, and she came in and said, I want to form a team. And so she formed her team, and she raised over $1,300. Oh. And so from her suggestion and her ways of forming her team, we were able to form additional teams. And now we're already starting to form teams for 2018. We would love to have 100 teams out there with 100 participants, but your team could be anywhere from 2 people to 100 people. We just need the community to come out and support. There are various organizations in the city of Huntsville who have already supported us, who say that they will be back. So I'm going to reach out now to the entire Huntsville community, all churches, civic, social organizations. We do have support of the various fraternities and sororities. We just love to see everyone come out that first Saturday in June and walk. The walk is about an hour of time, but it's a lot of fun and fellowship, and it's raising money for a wealthy cause.
Yeah, and this is one of your biggest fundraisers?
Yes, it is. It is the biggest fundraiser that we have, even though we do one in the shows area with the Radiothon there in the shows area. It is our second biggest fundraiser. And so any of the other fundraisers that we do are just community related, but those 2 events are our largest.
So make the argument for somebody that says, well, I don't have a family member that has sickle cell. I don't know much about sickle cell anemia. I don't know if this is something that I really either understand or want to support or get involved in. Make the case for why people who perhaps don't see themselves as a part of this solution to a challenge, why they should be involved.
Well, if you are in the communities that we serve, to me, any cause, any medical cause that's involving the community, you should want to be a part of. And more emphasis is that this particular disease affects African Americans more so than any other race, but all races can have sickle cell disease. And so we do have a flyer that we love to put out that says you don't have to be black to have sickle cell disease. But as a community person, hopefully you would love to be involved and a participant and a supporter of all programs and activities and foundations within the city. So if you're saying this doesn't affect you, it will affect you. If you have a neighbor, if you have a classmate or a co-worker, it's going to affect you in some manner. Church members, somewhere it's going to affect you.
So there's an interrelationship there. And the reason I ask that is because a lot of times people kind of write things off because they think that's not my thing and it's not going to affect me. But in reality, whatever affects one person has a potential to affect another person.
Definitely.
So just from an educational standpoint, it's good to know. If someone just knew that the Sickle Cell Foundation existed and they knew somebody who was maybe new to town and was wondering about something, they could get them connected and resourced. If somebody knew that there was an opportunity to raise funds for this through the walk, then they can perhaps direct somebody to this. So there are a lot of ways that interrelationship plays a role. Now, I know the month of September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and you all have big emphasis during that month to be able to get the word out. What kinds of things do you do typically during the month of September?
Well, we reach out to the various churches within the 10 counties and send them information about Sickle Cell Month for their various bulletin boards, because they like to set up the boards each month for whatever activities are taking place. So we're available for that, and we've attended several health fairs this particular month. I attended a walk yesterday, Saturday at least, a couple of Saturdays ago, in Lawrence County, and it's called Paint the Town Red. So any organization that wants to have an event during the month of September just needs to contact us, and we'll be happy to participate. September goes very fast, so I tell people, I said, there's only a few of us, but we will stretch as wide as we can and cover at least 3 activities a day if the timing is correct.
And you make a good point, too, and I want to make sure people realize this, that you're open and available to come talk to people, to communicate to them about the services that you provide, to provide a level of education that can raise their understanding and enhance their ability to appreciate an organization like yours in our community. And it's really just a matter of making that phone call and reaching out to you. I mean, you're not going to say, you may have to schedule it, you may be busy at the time, but you have to schedule it, but you're willing to come out and do those things.
We will go anywhere that there is a need or a desire, and we reach out, like I said, we reach out to all of the schools and the systems that we serve. We have information for teachers, coaches, counselors. We just want the general public to be aware of the children suffering from sickle cell disease when they're in their surroundings. So we have little league teams, we have motorcycle clubs when they do rides in memory of some of their former members. We have ribbons for them to put on those motorcycle jackets, and so it's just a way of letting everybody know that we care, and we want the community to know that you care.
Yeah, well, I think anytime we have a situation, an issue that affects a disproportionate amount of community, that this is a great time for people to rally together. And the big theme that we drive through this show is that there are good things happening in our community and good people doing great things. And if we could just come together and work together, we could have a much better community for all. Pam Thompson is the Executive Director of the North Alabama Sickle Cell Foundation. If people want to get more information about your services, to reach out to you, to make that appointment, to have you come out and talk to them about sickle cell, how would they go about doing that? Okay,
we're located at 224 Church Street, Suite B here in Huntsville, Alabama, downtown Huntsville. If you want to call us, it's 256-536-2723.
All right. Thank you very much for being here with us today. We appreciate the great information that you shared. Come back and see us sometime.
Thank you.
We hope that you've enjoyed the information shared by Pam Thompson. She is the Executive Director of the North Alabama Sickle Cell Foundation. And we've talked today about a lot of different things related to this disease that we hope you've learned something from and that you'll pass on to someone else. Now, the video that you just watched is on our Facebook page, which is Impact with Kenny Anderson. And you can see that video, and I ask you to share that video so that somebody else can learn about this organization and the great work that they're doing, as well as see some behind-the-scenes shots of what happens once the camera stops rolling. For Impact, I'm Kenny Anderson. Have a great day.